Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're focusing on a really interesting geographic and economic paradox. Homewood, Alabama. This isn't just another picturesque suburb of Birmingham. It's a community that, according to local experts, is really setting the pace for resilience and, desirability in the Southeast.
Exactly. And our deep dive today is looking at mid-December 2025 trends, but our mission, it goes beyond just reciting stats.
Right.
We need to explain why. Why does Homewood manage to keep this deeply authentic small town feel while also commanding some of the highest property values in the whole region? We're trying to extract the cultural, the civic, and the economic forces that are really holding that status up.
And I think that gets to the central tension here, right?
It absolutely is.
It's this balance between, that cherished small-town warmth and a real estate market that is just soaring. How do you hold on to both?
Exactly. And we have access to analysis from a top-ranked agent who's lived there for decades in the Hollywood neighborhood, a true insider. And that's key. That deep local knowledge lets us connect the emotional drivers to the economic outcomes.
It gives us the leverage to stop seeing the market as just random noise.
And start seeing it as a predictable result of a really robust social infrastructure.
Okay, let's unpack this structural advantage first, starting with what a lot of residents have called the vibe. The narrative we have here, it really paints Homewood as a masterclass in purposeful community design.
It does.
It's minutes from the big corporate energy of Birmingham, but the culture, the whole layout, it feels like a world away from that hustle.
And that's not an accident. That sense of connection you mentioned, we'd call it social capital. And it's a massive economic driver.
So where does that start?
The foundation is walkability. Think of 18th Street South. It's not just a row of businesses.
Yeah.
It's a high-density integrated downtown core. You've got boutiques, professional services, farm-to-table restaurants. It really encourages you to stay local.
And that hyper-local identity of the neighborhoods, that seems to feed right into that structure.
Absolutely. You have these distinct personalities that drive specific demand. I mean, Edgewood has that historic charm.
Right. And Hollywood is known for being quiet, tree-shaded.
Exactly. So buyers aren't just searching for a zip code. They're shopping for a particular lifestyle, a texture. And that keeps demand high everywhere.
So if walkability is the foundation, then the schools, it seems, are the load-bearing walls.
Oh, without a doubt. The guide emphasizes this again and again. It's the absolute crown jewel of Homewood.
Drawing families from all over the state.
And that's not just a feeling. That's hard data baked into property values. When you have highly ranked schools like Homewood High with its championship legacy, you create a boundary.
A boundary for guaranteed quality education.
Yes. And buyers pay a massive premium to be inside that catchment area. It might be the single most important factor driving that appreciation we talked about. It's a guaranteed return.
But the quality of life, it goes beyond just the academics. The public investment in community resources is pretty significant.
Look at the park system. Homewood Central Park, West Homewood Park. These are not just patches of grass.
No, they're more like outdoor living rooms.
That's a great way to put it. They host movie nights, yoga, dog walks. That kind of civic investment tells potential residents, we prioritize your well-being here.
And the thing that really stands out to me as unique is the emphasis on the public library. The source actually calls it one of the South's best-kept secrets.
Right. And when you highlight a library as a major community asset, that tells you something.
It says that intellectual and family connection is a priority.
And that commitment is what creates market resilience. It's cultural infrastructure, just as valuable as roads and bridges.
In Homewood, community isn't something you join, it's something you live.
That's the key takeaway.
So does that commitment to community actually show up when we look at their December calendar?
It really does. The density and integration of their event calendar proves this is a town that actively shows up for itself. This isn't passive living, it's active participation.
Okay, let's look at how they weave that spirit into the holiday season. The events aren't just random. They seem designed for different parts of the community to connect.
Right. Take the social side. You've got the annual holiday make and mingle.
That's the one with the DIY ornaments and crafty cocktails, right? At Corbo Wine Bar.
That's the one. It's for adults. It's chic. It's focused. It blends local artisans with socializing. It gets residents to engage with local businesses in a pretty low-pressure way.
Then you shift to the other end of the spectrum. You have these really family-focused folklore-type events.
Like the Jingle All the Way stories and music night.
At that acclaimed public library, no less, with local storytellers like Dolores Hydock and musicians like Bobby Horton.
And that just cements the town's tradition of shared history, of a shared narrative. It really captures what the guide calls Homewood's storytelling soul.
And it's not just culture for culture's sake. It extends right into the economic engines of the town.
Yeah, the Homewood Chamber Luncheon and annual meeting, it's not just a business gathering.
No, they have the guest speaker from Southern Living, Ivy Odom. It's a high-profile event.
It shows that professional networking is just as much a part of the cultural tapestry as Story Hour is. It's all integrated.
And then you have the broader regional appeal, like the Lights of Knowles to Botanical Gardens.
Exactly. It acts as a gateway, reinforces Homewood as a hub for the whole metro area.
There's a pro tip in the source I found really telling.
Let me guess. The hot cocoa crawl.
You got it. The idea of pairing a library story time with a post-event hot cocoa crawl downtown.
It perfectly illustrates the whole point. The easy, walkable integration of everything. The community is physically designed to make that kind of constant engagement happen.
So that integrated, walkable, culturally rich lifestyle is the foundation. Now,
yeah,
let's pivot to the metrics.
Okay.
Does this very appealing culture really translate into dollars in economic resilience?
Yeah.
Especially with all the national headwinds we've been seeing.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
The mid-December 2025 data. It suggests that resilience is absolutely the right word.
There's a real hum of optimism in these numbers. And it's important to see why it's so resilient. I mean, it's a seller's market, no question. Low inventory, high demand.
But the guide calls it a seller's market with a buyer-friendly twist.
And that twist is the high appreciation rate. It rewards people who get in, which is a huge draw for anyone looking for long-term equity growth.
Okay, let's dig into the numbers that prove that. The current median sale price is $585,000. And that figure represents a staggering double-digit jump, a plus 13.6% year-over-year change.
13.6%, that's the key figure. And we have to interrogate it,
What's behind it?
That appreciation isn't just speculation. That is, the quantified premium buyers are willing to pay for access to that school district, for the walkability, for the security of that social capital. It's profound, sustained demand.
But with growth that aggressive, is there a risk? A risk of losing that small-town warmth by pricing people out?
That is a vital question, and you can see signs of that pressure. But what tempers it is the steady growth in the average home value.
Right. That's at $537,752.
And that's up a much more steady 4.3% year over year. That suggests reliable long-term stability and investment potential, even if the median price is climbing really aggressively.
We should also look at the speed of the market. Even for December, things are moving fast. The median days on market is 29 days.
Which is up 6 days from last year's pace, but
for the end of the year, 29 days is still remarkably brisk.
It is. It tells us properties are competitive, they're priced correctly, and the sale-to-list ratio confirms it. It's holding strong at 98.85%.
So buyers aren't lowballing?
Not at all. They are coming in prepared to pay close to asking to secure a spot in this community.
And for context, the source notes that 2024 already saw a 10% jump in average prices, so this is an acceleration of that trend.
And with mortgage rates stabilizing around 6 or 7%, it seems to be unlocking more opportunities for those committed buyers who are on the sidelines.
So how does Homewood's performance stack up regionally?
Well, this is what's so interesting. The local sales volume was actually flat, about 25 homes sold in October.
Which sounds low.
It does, but it's not a lack of interest. It's an inventory bottleneck. There just aren't enough houses for sale. Meanwhile, Homewood is absolutely riding the wave of a massive statewide sales surge in Alabama, up 16% in December.
So the flat volume is about low supply, not low demand.
Precisely. The demand is intense. The market sentiment is just overwhelmingly positive. The investment choice, despite the high price, is a pretty straightforward one for people planning to stay.
Okay, let's ground these stats with some real-world examples from the first half of December.
Yeah, these sales really show the different value propositions at play.
So first, there was a closing on December 5th, 521 Edge Knoll Drive in West Homewood, a 3-bed, 2-bath, noted for modern updates and being close to the parks. It sold for $532,000.
And that sale is significant. It shows the price point where buyers can get into the market with modern amenities and still get all those lifestyle benefits of West Homewood.
It's a little below the median.
A little below, which proves that if you prioritize that walkability and those updates, you can still find a quality home.
Now, contrast that with the luxury sale from December 12th in Central Homewood.
Okay.
The address is undisclosed, but the guide calls it a stunning single-family stunner with premium finishes. It commanded $749,000.
And it flew off the market.
It did.
And that huge price difference between those two sales shows the breadth of the market. But it also shows a universal truth.
Which is?
When a home offers those premium finishes, especially in a central location, it just bypasses the median. It moves incredibly fast. Buyers will pay a massive premium for turnkey access to the top tier of the Homewood lifestyle.
So those two sales really encapsulate the whole market. High-end luxury moving instantly, and well-maintained properties near the parks providing a slightly more accessible entry point.
But still moving very rapidly. Early indicators suggest December will outpace last year.
So bringing it all together, the core takeaway from this deep dive really is the collision of this incredibly strong community culture.
The walkability, the schools, the events.
With a robust, rapidly appreciating real estate market. That synergy is what makes Homewood such a standout.
It clearly shows that when you invest in Homewood, you're buying into a powerful, self-sustaining community model. You're investing in social capital that reinforces long-term growth.
So what does this all mean?
Well, we've seen that Homewood's market strength is inherently linked to its intangible appeal, the fact that residents are actively participating in the community. And this raises a crucial question for you to think about.
Okay.
Given the volatility we see in national markets, is localized, embedded community culture now the single most powerful and resilient factor insulating a real estate market from those national economic headwinds?
That is a phenomenal thought. That the strength of your investment is directly tied to the authenticity of your local connections and the quality of your community story hour.
Something to mull over.
Certainly a compelling principle. Thank you for diving deep with us today. We'd encourage you to explore that invisible infrastructure that gives your own community its unique, resilient value.